Welcome back. So we want to talk about the issue of petroleum marketers as well as the issue of PMS. So there's a raging concern, if you will. The outlets have been complaining of the availability of products on one hand. On the other hand, they're also complaining about the price of PMS, that even some marketers now, they are finding it quite difficult to lift petrol from the depot because of the high cost. Now, it even gets worse because of the price of PMS, which stands at 1,000 naira and above across the country, a lot of people have decided to abandon their cars and resort to using public transport. And some have converted to CNG, the few that have done that. So now, according to DPRA, the quantity or the volume of PMS consumption has drastically dropped by over maybe 80 to 90%, from what about 60 million per day, which is debatable, between 40 to 60 million, to less than about 5 million. That is the official statement. That's why we want to find out exactly what is going on in that sector, because jobs are at risk, businesses are at risk. How do we work ourselves out of this situation? We're being joined in the program from our Abuja studios by Mr. Billy Gillis-Harris. He's the president of Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria. Also joining us via Zoom is Mr. Chinedu Kadike. He is the PRO of IPMAN. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Mr. Gillis-Harris, we've done this over and over and over again, but this is a unique angle. Bring us up to speed besides what we've read and the pressers from your organization and associated organization as to more of an existential threat to the survival of the business. From what we understand, they said the prices, you guys are saying the prices are quite high, and thousands of marketers may decide to leave that space, and even it can lead to loads of loss of jobs. But give us a clear picture of what we're dealing with here.
All right. First, let me clarify one of the information that you keep. I'm not a spokesman for NMDPRA, but we need to let you know, let Nigerians know that the consumption rate is not 4.5 million liters. It should be between 40 and 45 million liters. It's not possible for 4.5 million liters to be what is consumed in Nigeria daily. So I hope that that is corrected. NMDPRA has also, ensured that that information is properly, disseminated to us. Now, to answer your question straight, marketers, retail outlet owners, all of us in the industry are finding it very difficult to cope with the current situation. We used to buy 45,000 liters of product a couple of months ago for less than 8.5 million naira. But today we have to cough out about 49 million or thereabout to buy the same product. Financial institutions are not coming to our rescue. Cost of money is so high. It is so difficult to even sell, because what we manage to get in our retail outlets is not quickly bought up, because Nigerians also have a challenge with their buying power. So it is one mix of an issue that we as PETROAN are looking out to find solutions to it in different ways. What method of sourcing can we bring in to bring in more petroleum product, especially PMS, into our retail outlets? How can we design to get this product cheaper? And how can we also make sure that our patrons, do not suffer too much to pay for those services, so that we can be in business? And so at the end of the day, the retail outlets are employing so many Nigerians. And if anything happens that we are not able to keep our business afloat, that's going to impact very negatively on the job situation in Nigeria.
Mr. Gillis-Harris, so let's be clear on the initial statement I made about the consumption rate. We know that there's been a debate as to whether it's 60 or 50 or 40 or 35, and they've come to correct at some point. What is the current consumption rate that we understand that marketers are now complaining, or then NDPR said the consumption rate has actually dropped? Where was it? Where is it now from where you sit and what information you have, so that we are clear on that?
Yeah, well, from the information I have, and I will find it very easy for you to understand that NMDPR makes these publications through approved channels. Right now, the consumption rate cannot be anything less than 40 to 45 million liters per day.
Okay, I'm going to get back to that, but okay. Let me come back to Mr. Okadike on this particular. Mr. Okadike, PETROAN has given their own position as to the challenges they are facing. What is your own challenge as far as this is concerned? Is it also a similar situation, or there's a unique situation for you as well?
Well, I want to thank the president of PETROAN for giving an insight to this issue. It's very, very simple. Once the prices of goods and commodity is going up, usage is being minimized. It's just natural. It's simple economic terms. And the consumption, or what the usage rate of premium motor spirit has gone drastically down, and is affecting the independent marketers. So we're very, very sincere and honest with you. A lot of cash, too much cash now, is pursuing the same quantity of product that we use 8-point-something million naira to get, so that 45,000 liters. And now we're spending almost 49 million to also get the same 45,000 in the same facility. You know, the independent marketers build their facility very, very luxurious and elaborate enough to be able to serve commuters very, very well. And most of these funds that we use in establishing these facilities are bank money. It's being borrowed. The interest rate is also going high everywhere. But there's no return in investment. What we are talking about, return in investment, because the more we sell, the more we make profit. Now that the volume of sales in the filling station now is very, very low because of the characteristics of the buyers, who have now decided to be able to drop some of their luxurious vehicles, their V8 engines, and now using transportation. Because if you look at the filling stations these days, you will find out that you will see what is good skeletal or goods buying. Just 2, 3, 5, 4 cars will just come in and buy. We're no longer talking about scarcity. We're not talking about price differential, you know, the cost of the petroleum product. So, like you rightly said that in your deliberation about this report, that most people has abandoned their vehicles and now using CNG, keke napep, and tricycles to be able to, you know, move around. No more long vehicles of siren and convoy, you know, escorting one particular person to another particular place. So that issue is characterized based on the high cost of petroleum products in Nigeria. And with the independent marketers, how does it affect us economically? One, we are the largest employer of labor. And in our filling stations, you can see up to, the least you can see in the filling station is 5 workers. If there is a filling station that have more than 100 pumps, that means you are going to see around 150 workers in that filling station. The trucks, most of the truck drivers that drive our trucks, move to and fro to be able to ensure that there is adequate supply of petroleum products. It's also affecting the trucks movement. So most of the filling stations are now cutting down the pump attendants. They're also cutting down station supervisors. They're also cutting down shifts, which is going to drastically affect employment level in Nigeria. Because I want to say it vehemently here that the independent marketers are the highest employers of labor. And if this continues like this, it means that some of our workers will go into redundancy. and some may be possibly sacked. And it will have a very, very serious reflexive effect on the economy. Now, we are talking about pricing, which has gone up just because of the deregulation, because government was subsidizing. That was very, very important. We should show you. And people were taking advantage of that subsidy to be able to, use the petroleum product. The barbering saloon people, now they have switched to solar. Some of them have switched to CNG. Some of them have switched to LPG. You understand? And then, the common man who has also been driving his vehicles around luxuriously have now curtailed. When you come to filling stations, you will see a vehicle buying 3,000 naira fuel. And that 3,000 naira fuel, normally before, can be able to feed the tank to half tank. But now it's around 3 liters.
So, Mr. Okadike,
or even 2.something liters. Yes.
If you can hear me, give us a sense of just, how many jobs may go as a result of, the dropping petrol consumption and, the new transition into CNG that, seems to be happening and threatening the petrol sector of the downstream. Give us a sense of your membership strength and just how many jobs may be lost to this.
In line with what the DPR has given to us, I will critically say that we have over 20,000 licensed marketers. And these 20,000 licensed marketers replicate 20 standard filling stations operational in Nigeria. And more are still coming. And in that 20,000 marketers, you have at least, even at worst, 4 people per filling station. And if you have 4 people per filling station, some filling stations have up to 100 pumps, which transmit to almost 150 people inside the filling station. Definitely, they are going to reduce to 3 to 4 pumps. 97 pumps or 80 pumps will be dormant because there is no customers. And where will we even source this funds to be able to take care of this employment, those that are in redundancy, or those that are sleeping in the filling station? If
I may come in there, the picture you paint, and that also painted by Mr. Gillis-Harry, contradicts with the report that 42.3 million liters of petrol imported by marketers will arrive the country this week. So if there isn't prosperity, if it appears gloomy for marketers, why is importation still ongoing? And this also, is at variance with the fact that we now have a homegrown refinery in the country.
The market has been liberalized. All players and all sectors, or all stakeholders want to be able to take shot at the sourcing of petroleum products. Now, Dangote is supplying. Some marketers also who might have a refinery outside this country will also bring in their products. They know the semantics, they know the mathematics they will do to be able to bring in these products, maybe cheaper than that of Dangote. That is the beauty of this liberalization. I have given this example before. Foreign rice was around 15,000. When Nigerians started encouraging local rice came up around 4,500 a bag. But I'm talking to you now, foreign rice is around 90-something thousand. Local rice is almost 90-something thousand. So we don't foreclose importation. Neither do we say that Dangote should not produce. Dangote has promised us that it's going to produce adequate products that will serve Nigeria and that of West Africa, and have enough to export.
Let me
we're doing the essence of importation now is also trying to double on the prices. If the ones that are being imported into this country are cheaper, it means that Dangote will go down. Because when the AGO was deregularized, Dangote started importing, selling to Nigerian market, and was selling cheaper. AGO was around 1,800. Dangote started selling around 1,250. So they said that Dangote started selling 1,000. Those imported now reduced.
Okay, we'll have to take your explanation, even if it doesn't totally agree with the current projection of job losses. But let me quickly come to Mr. Gillis-Harry. Mr. Gillis-Harry, do you agree with the NMDPRA's data that petrol consumption has dropped to 4.5 million liters from 60 million liters per day that it was last year. Do you agree with that data?
No, that is incorrect. That information is not correct. I have never seen anywhere where NMDPRA's analysis or statistics has given that figure. If maybe it must be a printer's devil that must have put that information of 4.5 million liters per day. That would be just few trucks.
Okay.
That is scantily going around, very few retail outlets. And Nigerians are still buying petrol, not in the quantum and the quantity that we are used to. And I can assure you that that information is not correct.
Okay, so what do you project that it should be ideally of our consumption of petrol per day?
If the consumption projection is between 40 and 42 million liters per day, it will not be too off the mark, you know, because regardless of the scarcity of product, you can see from all the depots, you know, that product is still being sourced, scantily though, you know, but the consumption is still low when you compare it to what it used to be.
Because Mr. Gilisari, if it's not the printer's devil, the NMDPRA has said in August that Dangote's 25 million liters per day would be inadequate to meet our daily consumption as a nation, hence the need for importation. So if it is not the printer's devil, then there is a contradiction in the data that is being put out by the NMDPRA. Hence, Dangote's agitation that it should stop issuing licenses to importers because it has the capacity to produce enough liters of petrol per day that Nigeria needs to consume. I'd like you to respond to that.
Well, first, I don't think that any refiner or importer or retail outlet owner has any locus to ask the federal government to stop attending to any part of the business. Everyone participant in the sector should be freely allowed to participate. That's the beauty of the regulation. And that is what's going to even drive down price, that we have enough local production, we have imports product that meets the specifications by NMDPRA, and we, even PETROAN, can import. And indeed, we are making efforts to make sure that we can bring product at a much cheaper rate, you know, meeting the very specifications that NMDPRA has given. So I will certainly doubt, and I do believe that NMDPRA will not have made that presentation that daily consumption is 4.5 million liters. Yes, if indeed we are getting 25 million liters of PMS from Dangote refinery, that would be such a very great news. But even at that, we still need to source for product, you know, one way or the other, to make sure that all the stations are wet. Look, the beauty of having products in all the retail outlets is that you can drive into any retail outlet and buy product at the time that you want. And because every retail outlet will have product, it becomes a competition of price to, you know, ensure that you sell your product. So those are the beauty. That's the beauty of it, and Nigerians will be the better for it. So I think the local refining capacity should improve. The importation could be winding down, you know, but at this time, in the beginning, all of the two must have to work hand in hand for us to have product enough to compete with ourselves.
Mr. Gilisari, so let's contextualize a few things. So what is the challenge now? Is it the inability of Dangote refinery to wet the markets, or the price of the product? What exactly is the bigger challenge?
Well, the bigger challenge for us now is the price to buy, but also the fact that the supply, you know, the supply metrics is not really very clearly defined. Because if we are taking product from a local refinery, then we should be clear about that. and all the necessary information, highway should be opened for that to happen. So we shouldn't be looking for how to talk to any refinery. Refinery should actually be looking to talk to us. We are their last mile in distributing what they produce. So that in itself is a challenge. Price also is a challenge, but the biggest challenge we have now is that marketers may not be able to afford the 50 million naira or thereabout to buy a 45,000 liter product to take to their retail outlets. Financial institutions are making it difficult, and this is why we have requested that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should work in a very strict business manner, provide a seed capital of about 100 billion naira to cushion the cost, so that we do not run into a tragic situation where even when the product is abundant now we are talking about making sure product comes, but when the product comes and then we are not able also to buy it and distribute, that will even be a much bigger problem. So we are hoping that the government will pay attention to that request, and we should be able to advance. And there is nothing different from this as it was done for the aviation sector, as it's been done also for Greek. There are intervention funds that were brought in, but we want to even make use of this money more productively.
All right, let's take it to Mr. Okadike. Mr. Okadike, do you agree with Mr. Gillis-Harris on this seed capital? So let's understand the structure of this funding that has been requested for. Is it like a grant? Is it single-digit loan? What exactly are we talking about here, Mr. Okadike?
Okay, I just want to add my point about the consumption rate, because I was in the meeting where the NNDPR, Mr. Farouk, clearly stated the consumption rate, and in a pie chart form in the office of the NSA, when they were launching this operation Whirlwind that is being operated by both the DSS, all the security operatives, to cover up smuggling across the border, petroleum products. Because you remember that when Nigeria removed deregulation policy and price of products went high, some people in the neighboring country, started agitating. Not even Nigeria started agitating that why should Nigeria remove subsidy? It means that they are benefiting. So in the office of the NSA, the director of the authority chief of NNDPR, Mr. Farouk, clearly stated the dwindling consumption rate since the inception of the total deregulation. And the pie chart ended around, I agree with Mr. Billy, the pie chart ended around 4.5, 40 million to 50 million liters. It varies depending on seasons, or the period of time within which the regime they calculated the stock. So the issue of 4 million liters does not arise in any way, because even if you look at Lagos, Port Harcourt, and all these big cities, in Lagos can consume 1 million liters in a day. So you can't generalize 4.something million the whole country. It's not possible at all. That report should be discounted and discharged. It's not from NNDPR. The authority chief himself stated this thing clearly before all of us in front of the National Security Advisor and other security agencies chief. So I think that one is settled on that. On the issue of money, I think we have made a presentation in ways federal governments can come into an assistance to independent marketers, because our business is also service oriented. It is not like any other business. We have made a presentation on the floor of the National Assembly, via the committee chairman on downstream, which is Ken Gatinian. I was with Mr. Billy. We made a presentation about this energy bank, or petroleum bank, whereby federal government should establish an energy bank so that independent marketers and other stakeholders in this industry can be able to source funds. The fund we source from commercial bank with a high interest rate. And if we continue to take that fund from those commercial banks, it will drastically affect the pump price. That is what Mr. Billy is talking about. That's the sense of this loan or grant you are saying. We wanted a bank set aside. Like we have the Bank of Industry, the Bank of Agriculture, and all the rest of them, whereby independent, or can even give independent marketers credit facilities to be able to take this product and pay back. We have a regulating authority, which is the NNDPR, which can also put all these things together and give us, establish an energy bank whereby we can be able seamlessly, obtain facilities to be able to run this business. Because most of our members now are now sharing this product. Sometimes they say task force is holding one. It is not correct because they cannot be able to buy 45,000 liters. So they will make it 15,000. They will gather money so that the station cannot be idle. So, and if we don't do this, when there is availability of product, there will not be product in the filling station. Scarcity will.
All right, Mr. Okadike, let me take it back to Mr. Gillis-Harris. Apparently, it looks like what is needed in the immediate term is this maybe 100 billion or whatever amount you're quoting, maybe single interest on that particular loan, if you will, Mr. Gillis-Harris, on this particular one. But I want to find out from you, one other thing that can crash price in any situation is as many suppliers as possible. But help us make sense, because sometimes it's difficult for the average Nigerian who is not a player in this space to see how imported products will be cheaper than the Dangote refinery product. I know that using the plat model, they are doing, I think, 10 ppm from the listing we saw. I mean, the price listing we saw from NNPC, that during that debacle, we saw that it's 10 ppm of that particular plat model that was used. And now we see how much is being sold from the Dangote refinery. I'm not sure how much is being bought from the international market and being brought into Nigeria. So, but sometimes people have argued the fact that initially the NNPC had subsidized and is now cheaper than Dangote refinery and all that. That back and forth, I don't know whether I've gone beyond that. But my question exactly is, help us make sense of how imported petroleum product like PMS will be cheaper than the one that is manufactured or produced right here from our refineries in Nigeria.
Well, the simple, straightforward answer is let the refineries in country make their businesses very clearly understandable by retail outlet owners like us. PETROAN is ready to patronize Dangote refineries products or any other refinery in Nigeria. We are also ready to work with NNPC. We are also ready to import, even by ourselves. Now, but the dynamics of the business is pennies. Profit projections are not coming in tens of thousands or billions of naira as the investment capital suggests. It comes in pennies. So we want to take any product that is cheaper for us to be able to pass on to the Nigerians that meet the specification of what is consumed in Nigeria. So now, in reality, product that is produced, PMS that are produced in Nigeria, ordinarily ought to be cheaper. Ordinarily ought to be cheaper. But you have to ask yourself questions. When PETROAN started the campaign that all refineries in Nigeria should buy crude oil in Nigerian naira, we had an idea and a focus on what our arguments were based on. Now, when government picked up the policy and ran it, we did not know the input. Ordinarily, we should expect that stakeholders like us should be part of the process of how these decisions are made, so that we can also bring our grassroots knowledge to bear. Now, Dangote has imported crude oil from America, and he didn't buy it with Nigerian naira. So you have to also understand that the cost of production of the earlier refined product from Dangote will not be in any way priced the same way that the products is going to get from Nigeria. And we don't even know if that arrangement, which was supposed to start on the 1st of October, has actually started and if products have been delivered. We're only reading information from tabloids and social media, which is not correct. This business is a very serious business. PMS impacting on the economy of Nigeria, impacting on even how a husband and wife relates now. So it's very important that Nigerians get very clear and accurate information about all of these things. So just to tell you straight that ordinarily, if we are producing PMS in Nigeria, it should cost less because we have the crude oil here. The cost of shipment will be local, even though it may be priced also both in naira and dollar, than an imported product. But also an aggressive trader who wants his business to be established, because Nigeria has been a major importer of PMS from Europe and even Asia. So it's very, very important that an aggressive trader who knows that if he's able to turn around 200,000 metric tons of product in Nigeria per month, is going to get X amount of money, can reduce his profit projection to what is affordable. And that's what we, Petron, is negotiating. That's what we are looking. That's why we're talking to traders who have such ideas, and traders who are going to agree to land product for us to use without stressing our foreign exchange. In that case, they will take our naira in exchange for whatever trade we want to do. And that's what we are doing. So part of what we have discussed with the National Assembly at the time we made the presentation for the Energy Bank was that should quickly take off. But later we heard that there was an African Energy Bank that's coming up. And some of these things are just only in the news. You hardly get to know the details. Now so we have written to the president.
Mr. Gillis-Harry,
to come up with this 100 billion naira, funding. We need to discuss the details and then be able to get there.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so the seed fund, the energy bank, they're all projections in the works. What is more important to Nigerians is the availability of the product. And more importantly, even beyond that, is the pricing. And so you have justified the importation of 42.3 million liters of petrol by marketers, which is to arrive the country this week. And you say that it is good to liberalize the market, even though there are reports of worry about the loss of jobs because of the significant drop in consumption. With this importation of 42.3 million liters, are you guaranteeing that it will force down the price, as we say? And if it will force down the price indeed, by how much will we see petrol going down for, if that is in addition to what Dangote Refinery is supplying the market?
PETROAN is negotiating for a very drastic price reduction in landing product in Nigeria. And we are working all the numbers. We have not seen light at the end of the tunnel yet. So for PETROAN's involvement in landing product, that I can tell you that once we succeed in getting that done, and our partners are very aggressive, they are working very, very cooperatively with us to make sure that if product is coming into Nigeria for PETROAN members, that it will be priced at what we can sell, and we can beat our chest and tell Nigerians that as a patriotic organization, PETROAN has delivered. So it will be too early for me to make projections as to what the price will be. But we are negotiating very hard to make sure that we land the product at less than 900 naira a liter. So if that happens, then it will be something that Nigerians will be happy.
And that is the expectation. We just might hold you by your word, Mr. Gillis-Harry. I'm bringing the same question to you, Mr. Okadike. And it's an important question because Moman had reported that the landing cost of petrol had reduced to about 980 naira per liter. So if we're buying homegrown petrol for 1,000 naira per liter and above, what are the guarantees that the imported petrol that is to arrive this week will go down, below what we're currently buying it for?
Well, I think there is this strong policy that the federal government does not want the monopoly of the market, sourcing this petroleum product from one particular, source. And that's what both the MOMA members and Nigeria has been clamoring, that we don't want monopoly at all. So you should just liberalize the market and let us see what will happen. Because the diesel was liberalized And those people who have been importing these products, who are selling this product to us at 1,800. When Dangote came in, Dangote started selling at 1,200. Those that are selling at 1,800 came down to 1,200 with Dangote. Dangote went down to 980, even to 950. They also came down to 1,000. So you have seen the competition. That's the beauty of liberalization of the market. I don't want to go into the semantics of how they get their product refined and how they are bringing it to this country. If anybody, like IPMAN, the NNDPR is processing our import license, we are not shutting our doors. We're also discussing with Dangote. We are going to meet Dangote next week to be able to fine-tune our off-taking agreement with the management of Dangote. And the business will start. Wherever this business drives us, that is where we will go. We will make sure that we have petroleum products in our filling stations and sell to anonymous consumer. It is a competitive market. The moment members are importing, they are going to sell in their filling stations. And they are going to sell maybe lower than what Dangote is selling to us, or lower than what NNPCL is selling to us. NNPCL is selling to us now in Port Harcourt at 1,040 naira. How can we sell lower? So those marketers that have imported will take their product to their filling stations and sell at 998 naira or 1,000. So how do the independent marketers compete? So our doors are open. If we conclude with Dangote by next week, by the special grace of God, we will just put little margin and sell and be in the competition arena. We don't want to be shut out. The import license by next month, when it comes out, we will also source petroleum products or have partners that can be able to bring petroleum products to us and see whether we can be able to sell cheaper. The essence of this is to sell these products cheaper to Nigerians. And I want to let you know that we independent marketers who have acquired our tank farm, we have our trucks, we have the facilities all over this country. So we are battle ready for this competition.
Ms. Harry, let's bring it back to you on this particular issue. What I hear here is a lot of challenge and some level of urgency. So my concern and question will be, how urgent is the situation that the petroleum marketers have found themselves? I mean, if something is not done now, what could happen? We already know what can play out, but how urgent is it from where you sit? Because at the core of this, again, we have to look at FX, which is playing a key role in all the dynamics across board, not just your sector.
Well, yes, FX is a major challenge across every discipline because we moved from production to become a consumption economy. We should, quickly wind our ways back and look at what we did in the 50s and 60s and get back Nigeria on stream. Well, what is urgent today is availability of product, but more than that is the availability of money, funds to pay for them. So it's a two-cut situation that we need to attend to very urgently. We do not hope and we don't also pray that anything gets so drastic to the point of any doom. But it is good to speak out what possible difficulties will arise and look out for solutions, ensure that the solutions are also forthcoming. We hope that the government will be proactive to call, a very clearly defined business discussion on this matter. We are willing and able to meet with the government to discuss all of this, show them our plan, and I'm sure that it will be approved quickly because it's not a gift. It's not money that you throw away then we are businessmen that want to treat the money in a business-like manner. So, but more than that also, we need an NMDPR to also fast-track all the applications of our import licenses, both for those who are going to be trading with us and those that are owned by the associations themselves. Because we need to be in the fray. We don't need to stay outside and be dependent only on one source. We have to source for petroleum product from every corner that we can afford it and make sure that it's also affordable and reachable to Nigerians.
Mr. Gillis Harris and Mr. Kadike, your efforts are welcome, both to ensure security in the sector through the advocacy for an energy fund, an energy bank, a seed fund. But the situation is grim because many more Nigerians are considering a transition to CNG And of course, you have also heard the call by President Bola Tinubu for petrol stations to be converted to CNG centers. Well, of course, the debate is out there about whether we have the required infrastructure that will meet the consumption needs of 200 million Nigerians. But that also means more drop in consumption of petrol, besides the obvious fact that many more Nigerians are parking their vehicles because of the high cost of petrol. Now, the question is, are marketers preparing for the new outlook of the oil sector, which is a transition to cleaner and cheaper energy, CNG in this case now, in terms of infrastructure and in terms of the commodity? Mr. Okadike, perhaps you want to take that first.
I can take it if it's not
prepared. We're over prepared.
Go ahead.
Our structure. We're over prepared. The structures are all over everywhere. The independent marketers have enough structures that can be able to take this CNG project, and who have offers to assist the federal government. The presidential committee on implementation of this CNG, we have not seen the impact they are playing within the independent marketers, because it was expected that the committee should sit down with the independent marketers who has these facilities already. Most of our pumps, our filling stations, we have converted some of our pumps to CNG, anticipating that we will work, in close rank with the presidential committee. And I also know that they have approached us that we should nominate filling stations in the country where these CNGs will be installed. It is easier and simpler for these CNG installations, CNG training to be done in the filling stations, so that once you are taking your petroleum product, you can also see an option of CNG and also buy. Because if you say you're going to put up CNG centers, one in Port Harcourt, one, how is it going to be fast? How is it going to get to all Nigerians? And the cost of these kits are very, very expensive. Although CNG is good, but the cost of the kits too, Nigerians are worried.
All right.
So I also believe.
All right.
Yes, I also believe.
So let's quickly take it to Mr. Gillis Harry now. Your response to the same question.
Okay, well, the response I want to give is, first of all retail outlets owners are very willing to cooperate and collaborate with the CNG initiative. We started it during the last administration of President Muhammad Buhari with the Honorable Temepri Silva as Minister of State. We did not see any lights, at the end of the tunnel. PETROAN has had a very productive meeting with the PCNG boss, Mr. Michael, and his team, and we are very prepared to walk that lane. For your information, PMS is not the only product that you can get from a retail outlet. You can get LPG, and any station that has up to 3 or 4 plots of land can also install a daughter station of the CNG. So there's no doubt. And for your information also, in our last discussion, we had already offered 700 profiled retail outlets to enter into the CNG market. So we are prepared for it. We don't see it as anything wrong. We want it to be deepened, and we can help the government to make sure that it's working very well.
Almost thank you, Mr. Billy Gillis Harry, the president of PETROAN, for coming on the program, as well as Mr. Chinedu Kadike, the PRO of IPMAN. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll shift gears down to politics. This time, we're heading north to Kano State, where elections held on Saturday, and the NNPP, which is a ruling party in the state, has swept the polls, literally won all the chairmanship seats and the councillorship seats. The APC is protesting against all of that. Join us again. We'll be right back.